Welcome back to In Goa News. Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant highlighted Goa's model of sustainable architecture at the National Conference in New Delhi, stressing that development should not come at the cost of cultural heritage. He encouraged architects to adopt climate friendly building practices inspired by Goa's traditional design and natural cooling techniques.
The simultaneously developing the heritage villages like Sandor and promoting the temple heritage projects that celebrates the Goa's unique cultural identity. It is about the strengthening the local identity, supporting the traditional craftsmen, creating the livelihood, and ensuring the future generation inherits the living heritage rather than forgotten the monuments. Energy efficiency and climate responsive architecture is not an open, it's necessity. The building we construct today, it must be consume less energy, conserve more water, maximize the natural light and ventilations and minimize their environmental footprint. The Government of Goa has already embarked on the ambitious journey towards the sustainable development through the initiatives, the renewable energy, rooftop solar installations, electrical mobility, water conservations, and environmental responsible public infrastructure. We now intend to take the vision further of encouraging the adoptions of the green building principles in future the government project. Our endeavor is to ensure that the energy in a new public building, whether it is a school, hospital, the government offices or the tourism facilities, become the modern and sustainability. We wish to integrate the passive cooling techniques, the rainwater harvesting, energy efficient system, renewable energy solution, universal acceptability and integrated building management system, while simultaneously drawing inspiration from Goa's own architectural tradition. I urge the experts, architect and policymaker to share their wisdom with us. Together, we can establish the meaningful benchmark for the green public infrastructure that are not merely internationally relevant, but also rooted in Goa's unique climate and cultural context. Some people think the tradition and technology stands on the opposite side. I believe exactly opposite. The technology should become the strongest ally of tradition. Artificial intelligence, digital twins, building information modeling and laser scanning, drone documentation, GIS mapping and climate simulations. All these technologies now allow us to preserve the heritage and more accurately than ever before. If we can harness the new technologies wisely, the future generations will now learn about their history only through the books, but also through the digitally preserved heritage that brings the past to life. That is the direction in which the Goa wishes to move. Every government building it sends a message. A school teaches even before the classes begin. A hospital inspires the confidence through its design. A public office reflects the values of the government. That is why I always tell GSIDC and our departments that every new government building in the Goa and should not only be the modern but also the Goan in character. Let our building reflects our climate. Let them respect the local material. Let them conserve energy. Let them harvest rainwater. Let them maximum daylight. Let them inherit solar energy. Let them remain rooted in the Goa while embossing the global standard. Kautilya Lekha Bhavan and the such buildings are the living examples in the state of Goa. In our tradition keeps us connected to our roots. Science and technology leads us towards the future. The climate change has fundamentally changed the role of architecture. Today, architecture is not merely designers. They are the environmental leaders. Every design decision influences the energy consumptions, carbon emissions, and ecological resilience. Our coastline, biodiversity, and fragile ecosystem demands the architecture that is an interlinked, resilient, and environmental responsible. That is why the discussion on the green building, climate smart material, and sustainable constructions are not academic exercise. They are the policy priorities. One of the most facing aspects of the today's conference, which is the discussion on the climate smart material and sustainable construction practices. Interestingly, this is an area where the Goa possesses the centuries of the accumulated wisdom. The long ago, our artisans and the craftsmen understood that locally available material are often the most durable and sustainable. The long before the world began, the discussion embodied on the carbon and the sustainable supply chain. The Goan architecture relied on the locally available laterite stone, lime plaster, timber, and clay tiles. These materials were not chosen merely because they were accessible. They were selected because they responded naturally to the Goan's tropical climates, reduced heat absorption, allowed the buildings to breathe and blended harmoniously with the surrounding landscape. Today, the modern science is validating that what our traditional builders practices instinctively. However, preserving the traditions does not mean the resilient innovations. New technology is not competitor to our heritage. It becomes the greatest ally. Through the advancements such as the Building Information Modeling BIM, artificial intelligence, digital documentations, laser scanning material analyst, GIS mapping, and climate simulations, we now have the unprecedented opportunities to combine the traditional architectural wisdom and contemporary energy excellence. Goa may be one of India's smallest state, but the greatest of the idea is never determined by the geography. The small states can become the great example. Our aspiration is simple. We want the Goa becomes the India's living laboratory for the sustainable architecture. A place where the heritage conservation, climate resilience, technology and public infrastructures grow together. A place where traditional wisdom guides the future innovations. A place where the tradition guides and world comes and not only to admire the Goa's beauty, but also to learn the Goa's experience.